What a class of rookies we had in the 2024 NFL Draft, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. The term generational prospect is probably too commonly used in NFL circles, but in Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., we can probably get away with it. They look set up to dominate in 2024, but which other rookies can join them? Here are my top 5. Caleb Williams. To kick things off, I will gladly take the low-hanging fruit in Caleb Williams. The sensational prospect out of USC had been penciled into the number 1 pick ever since his remarkable Heisman Trophy winning season in 2022. That 4,537-yard, 42-touchdown effort came with just 5 interceptions and another 382 yards on the ground. It's never fair to compare someone to the great Patrick Mahomes, but you just have to watch his tape to realize why. If I said Kyler Murray as his pro comp, would that make you feel better? Regardless of who you think of when you watch him play, what's undeniable is the talent. Williams was a walking highlight reel at USC, buying time and showing off freakish arm talent and athleticism to deliver outrageous passes from every angle. His pocket awareness is great, he can scramble when needed, and he has already shown great maturity in reading what the defense gives him. What more do you want? In his junior season at USC, Williams came under a fair bit of criticism as his team faded in the latter stages and his numbers dropped. However, in his defense, he lacked dynamic weapons, a competent offensive line, and was constantly having to counteract his woeful defense, who were ranked 117th in the nation. Despite all this, he still managed to put up 3,333 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions whilst also turning out a career-high 68.6% completion rate with a 170.1 passer rating. It's also worth noting that, according to Dane Brugler, Williams didn't throw a single interception on 3rd or 4th down, instead collecting a touchdown to interception ratio of 16-0 on such throws. On top of that, his ratio in the red zone was 46-1. In Chicago, he will have the luxury of 3 dynamic wide receivers in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, while also benefiting from DeAndre Swift at running back and Cole Kmet at tight end. Yes, there are question marks about the offensive line, but there should be a dynamic playmaker ready and waiting every time Williams drops back to pass. We've known that he was going number 1 overall for years, and it just so happens that he lands in a dream situation for a rookie quarterback. So, yes, Caleb Williams is the first of our 5 rookies who will dominate in 2024. Marvin Harrison Jr. Another player who has been penciled into the top of the first round for a number of years is Marvin Harrison Jr. As the son of Colts Hall of Fame wideout Marvin Harrison, he's seen firsthand what it takes to be a pro, and it shows. Between state-of-the-art, programmable jugs machines and Hall of Fame tutorship from a young age, everything has been about building to this moment for Harrison, and he's landed in a great spot to dominate. The Arizona Cardinals are undoubtedly a struggling team, but their offense is their strength, and Marvin is exactly what they need. He can immediately slot into the X receiver role, already boasting an impressive array of release packages and the size needed to challenge NFL cornerbacks. In doing so, promising sophomore receiver Michael Wilson can drop down to the 2nd receiver position, Zay Jones and Greg Dortch can be effective in the slot, and Trey McBride can continue his ascendance at tight end. As landing spots go for rookies, it's a good one. Kyler Murray was playing like a top 10 quarterback before his injury and started to show signs of a successful return in the latter stages of the 2023 season. The presence of other weapons, particularly Trey McBride, will help to take the pressure off Harrison, meaning it's not all on him to move the chains. We are about to talk about Malik Nabers in New York, who doesn't benefit from the same kind of help. Setting the good landing spot aside, the most important factor to consider is that Harrison is about as pro-ready as they come. He's well equipped to beat corners at the line and further downfield, whilst also having the footballing IQ to find the right spots against zone coverage and use his impressive frame to haul in wayward passes while under pressure. His acceleration won't catch the eye in the same way that Malik Nabers will, but he makes up for that in every other way. 2024 could be the start of a fun turnaround for Arizona, and Marvin Harrison Jr. will be at the forefront of it. Malik Nabers. Next up, we have Malik Nabers. It's been quite a chalky start to the video, I know, but the reality is there was some serious talent at the top of this draft class. We've just looked at the craftsmanship and nuance of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s game, and we now switch it up for the sheer speed and explosiveness of Malik Nabers. The LSU superstar jumped from 417 yards as a freshman to 1,017 yards as a sophomore before delivering a 1,569-yard, 14-touchdown junior season that was worthy of a unanimous All-American selection. Speed is the name of the game with Nabers, but he has some serious wiggle as well, changing direction with ease to make him a defender's worst nightmare. Whilst there are definitely a few areas to polish up, his sheer athleticism should make him a danger on the NFL gridiron from day one. His route's early production is helped by the fact that the New York Giants don't boast too much other talent in the offense. Wan'Dale Robinson has flashed at times in the slot, and Slayton will continue his solid but not spectacular deep threat role, leaving Nabers as the clear-cut number 1 option already. The offensive line was a disaster last year for the Giants, and who knows what Daniel Jones will deliver in his return from injury, but Nabers can counteract those potential vulnerabilities through his explosiveness. Jones and Brian Dable just need to put the ball in his hand and let him work his magic. The situation might not be great, but there is too much talent in Nabers for him not to dominate. Ladd McConkey. The next rookie who is set to dominate in 2024 is Ladd McConkey, who should quickly become Justin Herbert's new best friend in LA. Herbert's last go-to target was Keenan Allen, who will now be helping Caleb Williams in Chicago. In McConkey, the Chargers nabbed arguably the best pure route runner in the draft. His frame could not be much more different to Allen's, but he should at least replace his ability to find open space. A college high of 762 yards is nothing to write home about and does suggest a cause for concern based on injuries, but his tape showed more than enough to get NFL scouts excited. In particular, his impressive release packages and fluid route running will allow him to make an impact on day one. What's even more exciting is that for someone of his size, you would assume that McConkey is a slot-only receiver. Well, not exactly. At Georgia, 70% of his snaps were actually spent on the outside, which emphasizes again how good his route running is. He already has a very strong route tree to call upon, which, when you consider the lack of talent on the roster, will make him a very popular target. Aside from McConkey, the Chargers are relying on Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnson, who could be on a path to become one of the biggest wide receiver busts of all time. With Jim Harbaugh in charge, LA will adopt a run-heavy approach, balancing that with efficiency in the passing game. McConkey is the perfect playmaker for that approach, setting him up for a big rookie season. Xavier Worthy. We're sticking with the wide receiver position to round out our 5 rookies set to dominate, and our final candidate is another playmaker of the undersized variety. Xavier Worthy is the speed demon of the 2024 draft class, blowing people away with his record-breaking 4.21 40-yard dash. Comparisons have been made to the last holder of that record, John Ross, another skinny speedster, but Worthy offers so much more. He plays much tougher than his 165-pound weigh-in suggests, is not afraid of contact, and remember, we just saw Tank Dell enjoy success at the same weight. Okay, fine, Dell season did end with a broken leg, but he really shone before that. Let's just hope Andy Reid doesn't put Worthy at the bottom of run blocking pileup. On the topic of Andy Reid, he's one of the reasons Xavier Worthy is set up for a big rookie year. As the NFL gets more creative and confusing with pre-snap motions, Reid is the perfect play designer to utilize the strengths of Worthy's game. At college, 39% of his receptions came behind the line of scrimmage, and you can be sure that the great Chiefs head coach will find plenty of innovative ways to get him the ball. Worthy broke out instantly in the college game, collecting 981 yards and 12 touchdowns as a freshman. He was a consistent threat for the Longhorns, finishing up with 1,014 yards and second-team All-American honors as a junior. I expect him to make a similar impact as a rookie in the NFL. Andy Reid felt the need to trade up to make sure he got his man, and there should be a few more opportunities available to the speedster given Rashee Rice is set to start the year on the sidelines with a suspension. The Chiefs have been looking for a dynamic wide receiver weapon ever since Tyreek Hill left for Miami. You can be sure that Reid and Patrick Mahomes, arguably the most talented quarterback of all time, will make sure to get him involved and make him a valuable part of the offense. His speed and twitchiness will be an asset from day one, so don't be surprised to see him pop off on what could be another Super Bowl winning campaign for the Chiefs. That wraps up my list of 5 rookies to dominate this year. It speaks to the outrageous depths of the 2024 class that we couldn't find room for some of the other big names to go in the first round. Jaden Daniels could light the world on fire in Washington, whilst Keon Coleman should get plenty of opportunities as Josh Allen's go-to guy in Buffalo. You also have Xavier Legette and Jonathan Brooks, who are looking to transform a putrid offense in Carolina. There are so many options to choose from, but the 5 rookies I've discussed today are the 5 rookies that I genuinely believe have not just the talent, but the opportunity to dominate in 2024. Who have I missed? Do you think I'm too high on someone? Let me know in the comments and let's have a bit of a debate. It's July, after all. There's nothing else to do, right?